You probably can't tell from the way I talk on this show, but I love building stuff. I love tools. I love the problem solving. I just love building. And today we're talking with Jay Sarkar of Ryobi of how Ryobi fits into that. From power blowers to fans to drills to their 18-volt batteries, 40-volt batteries, Ryobi provides the tools which makes you be a builder. Learn all about that more today on this episode of The Marketing Madmen.
They say marketing is a madman's game. So now we turn it over to the Marketing Madman with Nick Constantino and Trip Job.
Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Marketing Madmen. Nick Constantino here. And so we're doing something new today. We got a product demo. We're using a different studio. We're going video. And we have our guest, Jay Sarkar of Ryobi. And Jay has some TV experience. So I'm jealous, and he better be better at this than I am. So Jay, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great today, Nick. Appreciate you having me on. Really
Pleasure.
Excited to educate some folks here about our Ryobi power tools and outdoor equipment, all sold exclusively at the Home Depot.
Yeah. So for some context, I think there's a lot of reasons why this conversation is happening. First and foremost, Craig Reynolds and I were lucky enough to visit Ryobi, and just to see a peek behind the curtain to one, all the R&D going, two, what you're doing for the community in South Carolina. It was really cool. But we also got to buy some new toys, and I actually set up. We have a link system in my garage that I've mounted all my tools. And Jay, what I didn't tell you is, since that point, I've actually begun building about a 30 by 20 foot deck. It's an under deck, so it'll be the third deck. One I rebuilt, one I built from scratch. It'll be the third one I've built, and it is pretty much exclusively Ryobi gear. So it is it all kind of fits perfectly into why we're having this conversation. Give some framing. So we are in for the home show. We're here for the home show, and you can see from all the toys and imagine what a setup is going to look like for the home show. So first, talk about that. Talk about what you're looking forward to. Talk about what's going on at the home show.
Yeah, so really our events, we've done a lot in the past where we've gone to what are called Pinners events, which are run by Pinterest interest groups, things like that. But this
Pinterest interest groups. Okay, see, I learn something new every day.
Say that 5 or 6
The Pinterest interest,
fast.
Pinterest interest. All right.
But, that's a lot more of influencers, parents, a little bit more craft oriented.
Okay.
But now this year, the Atlanta Home Show is actually our trial run. We want to see if we can expand more, not only showcasing our power tools and our hobby craft and maker tools, but also our cleaning tools, our outdoor tools. We have our brand new blower here on the table. So we at the Atlanta Home Show, we just want to get an opportunity to get in front of our customers outside of the walls of the Home Depot.
Yep.
But the exciting thing that we're able to offer at the Home Show is that we usually have a discount code that we provide on site. Folks can sign up to enter to win a giveaway, get the discount code, takes them to a homedepot.com landing page, and then they can select from dozens of different products that are 20% off only while at the Home Show. So
it's fantastic.
Benefit. Yep.
Fantastic.
And the great thing is that, there's 90 Home Depots in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
But even for folks who are coming out of town, maybe, they prefer to pick up their things at a brick and mortar store. They can either have it shipped directly to their home or shipped to their local Home Depot, whether that's right off Ponce de Leon or they're coming all the way up from Florida.
Yep. And there's something about shopping at a Home Depot in their backyard, right? We're maybe, 2 miles from their corporate office. Like I go to the Buckhead one, and it is so much different than any other Home Depot I've ever been to. Just the amount of people that are there to help. So I encourage everybody, as much as online shopping, as great as it is, you got to try these things. You got to see these things. One of the things that blew me out of the water was just how big the ecosystem is. And, again, I've always been a tool guy. I have 4 drills. I've got 2 blow. I got so many tools. I'm always building things, but even if you're not, we have fans here. We're talking about tailgates. We're talking about one of our sales guys was like, I play baseball. I need a fan that's blowing water out. There's so many tools. So let's take a step back and let's just set up Ryobi in America and then relationship with Home Depot. So let's set us up, because then it'll frame all these great toys and what you can do with them.
Of course. So really, it all goes back to our battery platform.
Okay.
So the one thing that really makes Ryobi unique is we have this post-style battery. A lot of other manufacturers have slide packs. So this post-style battery started in 1996 with our 18-volt tools. And what's great about it is that this battery, we can plug into a drill or a fan or a light from 1996. It will run.
Yep.
We can take a NiCad battery from 1996, plug it into this speaker, leaf blower, that new drill right there, and it's going to still make that tool run. So we're really big on no customer left behind.
Which is, just for a second, how fascinating. how much battery technology has changed since 1996. I mean, the one thing missing in all this with electric vehicles is actually the capacity and the technology of the batteries. They can go further. It's just the capacity of these batteries. So if you think in 30 years how much battery tech has changed, the fact that that Ryobi had the foresight to say, hey, you know, if we're making tools that should last for 20 years, we better damn well make batteries that can last as long as it. And it is one of the biggest frustrations. I mean, I have drills that are probably 20 years old that still completely work. Yet you buy a tablet or a laptop and a year and a half later, that thing pretty much falls apart. So, but if you're not building batteries, that's just going to piss people off. So it's amazing that the foresight was there. Okay, so we're a battery company. We have our batteries. They're modular. They fit in different units. Keep on going.
Yep. So our story from there continues to the very turn of the century. That was when we partnered up with Home Depot for our exclusivity agreement, and we have been exclusive to Home Depot ever since. So, you know, some folks may say, oh, I found this Ryobi tool on Amazon or elsewhere. But the thing is with our exclusive retail partnership with Home Depot, that is where our warranty is guaranteed, and that's where we can provide full customer support.
Right.
So, you know, we understand people can find tools anywhere from a pawn shop to the internet, but when you buy at Home Depot, not only are you backed by the confidence of full manufacturer support during the warranty window, but we also have our field sales team, which they are in markets like Atlanta. We usually have one calling on one store 40 hours a week. So you go in there.
You see them there? Yeah.
You go in there
all the
between
time.
8 and 4. There's a product specialist that can help you with questions, picking up new tools, or even just answering questions about troubleshooting.
And honestly, like, don't do what I do. I'm like, a jigsaw will fix everything. Don't do that. There are specific tools for everything. And I think that's the first thing you learn is you don't have to use a Sawzall to fix everything. So I encourage you, again, if you have a problem, go ask. There's nothing more fun than figuring out there's a solution to a problem. And one of the things we talked about when we were looking at R&D is they're always looking for new problems to solve, right? And you have, I mean, if you guys could see just the size, we weren't allowed to go back there. Jay's clearance wasn't high enough to get me into the back rooms that I really wanted to be in. I'm like, what's coming out in 10 years? I don't care about it now. But the R&D, I mean, they're looking for problems to solve. So if you have a problem that you think hasn't been solved yet, you should probably go check out Home Depot because they probably have a tool for that specific need.
Yeah, and I think, you know, kind of continuing that battery story. So this is a 2 amp hour battery, pretty standard, comes with some of our smaller products. But then you look at 2023, that's when we launched our 12 amp hour battery, which is our largest to date. So you imagine plugging this not into, I mean, sure, you could run this fan on it for days at a time, but you put this in that leaf blower, you put it in a miter saw, even one of our 18-volt lawnmowers, you're going to be seeing more runtime and greater performance than you would from even the batteries that came in the kit.
Yeah, so crazy. And to give some context, people always get this wrong, and I usually do too. My understanding, the voltage is the oomph. The ampage is how much of it has.
Yep, that's a great way to put it, Nick. So the voltage is the power that it's running at, whereas the amp hour, that's going to be your fuel tank. That's how much juice you've got to run your tool. And then it all depends on draw. Because let's say that we're leaf blowing our backyards using this leaf blower.
On full blast.
Yeah, on full blast. It's going to run that 12 amp hour battery down a lot quicker than if we're plugging it into, say, a power inverter to keep our laptops charged, keep our cell phones charged while we're camping.
That's consistent. There's no variables. This has got many things. My also understanding is something like this, you'll always be better off with a big blower with more amps anyway. It even gives it a little bit more because of 2 amps. It's going to reduce so quickly that you're going to lose some of that. The bigger the battery pack, the more you'll get out of it, even though the voltage is the same.
Correct. Yep. So the larger the battery pack, and then also when you look at our 12 amp and our 8 amp hour, we also have some new features that we've built into those batteries that really allow them to increase peak performance, especially in those high draw tools like a leaf blower, a chainsaw, or even an angle grinder or an impact wrench.
Okay. Love it. So as I usually do, I got completely off track. But so we're at Rio. We have the batteries, which are launching all of this. This is 2000. We made our exclusive agreement with Home Depot. So bring us up to the future. Talk about Anderson, South Carolina. Talk about the new facilities. Just show how big of a company and how invested in the South and in South Carolina Ryobi is, because it's important to know that your tools, I don't think Home Depot would have invested in a company that didn't have that kind of investment in the community around them.
Yeah, so really, you know, in South Carolina, we opened our facility that you guys came to visit in 2019.
Okay.
Then about 8 months later, everyone went home for about a year due to COVID coming up. But then,
and they were buying a lot of tools because I was doing a lot of yard work in that time. That's when I decided to build a treehouse for my kids, and I was like, this thing could be 2 stories. What's stopping me?
Yep, folks were buying a lot of tools at that point. But no, really, you know, having our relationship in South Carolina is great because not only are we able to benefit the community there. Having our retail partner be located just 2 hours down the road, it's fantastic because we are able to visit them at the store support center for meetings. They will come up and see new innovation that we are working on, or come up and see new manufacturing we're working on. So really, it's great for that relationship. But then it's also great because in 2021, that was when we started building cordless lawnmowers, and then 2 years later, our 80-volt lawn tractors.
Now we're getting to the fun stuff.
We build those just down the hill in Anderson. So what's great about that is that our product managers, they might see, hey, you know, we should see how this is working out with this manufacturing process. They can drive their car down the hill, walk in, go to the assembly line, see how things are being implemented,
Very cool.
make those improvements, and really from a supply chain standpoint, it makes everything move that much quicker.
Yeah, and again, Home Depot's infrastructure is here, so you're aligned with that. You're not shipping on a boat to get to a train to go to here. It all makes a ton of sense. And so let's just, again, when it's all said and done, we're sitting in now in South Carolina. Talk a little bit about your day-to-day, because I think that'll frame the next two pieces of this this conversation. So just give us a quick 90 seconds on your day-to-day and what you're doing most of the time.
So my day-to-day is I am one of the leads on our public relations team. So a lot of my focus is launching our new products. So almost everything that you see on this table, actually everything that is on this table except for that one drill in the corner, I have written the press release for. I've helped get it to market. I've got into media partners' hands to drive that excitement, to drive awareness from an outbound marketing perspective, to get people excited and ready to buy our tools at the Home Depot, homedepot.com. And then now my new role, well, not new role, but new responsibility, working with you and Craig, has been how can we generate that demand to drive more footsteps into a Home Depot store? Because our reps do an awesome job
when you're
at
there.
a Home Depot while they're there, but how am I getting to the customer that shops at a competitor? How am I getting to the customer that shops at a mom and pop?
Differentiation. How are you differentiating both the Home Depot and yourself from the other tools out there? And it is a flooded market. It is a lot of tools out there and a lot of brands, to be honest, that used to be huge names that have shrunk. So there's also a lot of opportunity in it. So yeah, I think that's a great framing. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk some marketing. We're going to do some product demos. You don't want to see the dust that comes out of this room, but we'll leave that for another time. It just shows how powerful the blower is. And you've been listening to the Marketing Madman on Extra 106.3, and we will be right back.
Associated Credit Union puts more in our 1515 adjustable rate mortgage over the standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Here's the more. A full 1% lower rate than the standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Estimated interest savings average $40,000 in the first 15 years. A lower initial monthly payment, and you pay no intangible tax. What more could you ask for? Go to acuonline.org/more, well, to find out more. Associated Credit Union. We're here to help you live more, bank more, and grow more. NMLS number 401922, Equal Housing Opportunity.
The warm air, the sounds of baseball, it's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, sporting standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 32 miles per gallon. Or the 2024 Subaru Forester, the SUV with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com, then come see us for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth.
Now back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3 FM.
Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen. Nick Constantino here with Jay Sarkar of Ryobi. And now let's get to the fun stuff. I think we've framed how we got to this point. I think we've framed what you do in a day-to-day. Now let's frame, we brought in our new guest here, Mr. Multiple Battery Charger, who's going to tell the story of what the hell we use all this stuff for. So again, the basic stuff. You got to drill. You got a blower. You can figure a lot of these things out. But what I think one of the things about, and you talk about writing product explanations, is everything is a different thing for a different person. And it's a different application for different people. So, you know, you got your fix-it guys. Those guys are pretty hell-bent in the tools they're using, right? They're going to use the tools they've used, probably that their father used. So it's about getting new people into the ecosystem. So let's talk a little bit about some application. So I'm going to set up a scenario, and you tell me why some of these things might work or might use. So, To address it first, having batteries is not only convenient when you get to use them, but it is eco-friendly. It is quieter. There's so much that comes out of this. So let's start with this puppy right here. So from what I see, this is a large charging unit in which you charge that can also charge each individual battery afterwards by itself, correct?
So that is actually one of the many tricks that it can pull
Okay.
off, Nick. So this is an 18-volt, 1,800-watt power station.
Okay.
So what this does is it runs on our 18-volt 1 Plus batteries,
Got it.
cross-compatible with over 300 plus tools. But what's amazing about this is this has 3,000 starting watts, 1,800 running watts. This can replace your gas generator that you are using at the Bulldogs tailgate, at the Falcons
Love it.
tailgate, outside in the battery for a Braves game. But the great part is, let's say it starts raining or, the weather is bad or it's windy. This is emission free. You can put this inside your car and run your extension cords out, completely safe, no worry, no risk. And it also is excellent to have if there's ever a power outage.
Got it.
Because you can run your refrigerator, you can run your
Got it.
Wi-Fi, so your kids can still have their tablets and everything
Got
while
it.
the lights are out.
And that one, again, if my technology is right, that initial oomph, that 3,000 is what turns it over. And then the consistent one. So to turn a refrigerator on, that initial push is what you need to turn it on.
Yep.
And then it's to keep it going. Just like HVAC, like anything like that, it takes that initial push to get it running. But once it's running, it's a much lower draw than it is
Correct.
original.
It's just like how starting your car is going to be, the hardest it goes through and then it runs at an even pace.
Okay.
So what another neat feature about this one is, as you see, the batteries, they easily can go in and out, but we also have hot swap functionality.
Okay.
So let's say that this battery, which is at 1 right now, it's running low. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that out, take our 8 amp hour that's got 3 bars, so plenty of charge, pop that right in. And if this were running and we had, let's say our speakers and everything plugged into it, you would not lose any power because you can hot swap those
That
batteries.
again, of old technology, if you take a AA out of something they're using, that AA doesn't work. That remote doesn't work anymore. That unit doesn't work anymore. So you're hot swapping this. So this is actually, this is the power unit. This is the unit that's doing all the conversion to make sure that you can use any kind of good that there is.
Correct. And as you'll see on the front, you've got your standard 120 volt household plugs.
Wow.
Over
3.
here on my side, you've got 4 USB-A ports and 2 USB-C ports. So great to charge up your phones. I've used this at a few different tailgates over the past couple years, and it's amazing because you don't realize how noisy a gas generator is until there's the absence of that sound.
Yeah, I believe it completely. Yeah, so this is a heck of a tool. I mean, there's for a lot of application, but again, you're replacing something. And I also have to imagine you don't need to oil this up. You don't need to lube the engine. You don't need to do a lot of those things that people don't want to do that causes those products to break pretty easily. So you also have that going for you. So what does something like this run at Home Depot?
So something like this is going to vary because you can buy it without any batteries as a tool only, or you can buy it including 4 6 amp hour batteries.
Which you can use for other applications, so it makes sense. So what do we run without the batteries for some context?
So without the batteries is going to be about $6.99,
Okay.
and then with is it's going to vary because usually this time of year for spring it can go on sale,
Okay.
but the manufacturer retail price for it is $8.49.
Got it. But again, let's talk about it this way. One, you're using you're now using gasoline, which fluctuates in price, but a lot more than electricity does. There's no refilling. You have these puppies in your house. They're on household chargers that you can just use. You can use as many of them as you want. The batteries go everywhere. So again, it's about that value proposition. Right. So let's talk about a tailgate. So we set this up. We're going to a tailgate. We have this with us, right? If it's a Nick tailgate, we're going to be out there for 16 hours straight anyway. We got to make sure we get our money worth. So we're tailgating. We got this puppy with us. Talk about some of these other tools, because now let's say it's September and we're in Georgia, so it's going to still be 100 degrees. So let's go to some fans and other things we use for tailgating.
So yeah, I think let's start small and work our way up.
Please.
So you had mentioned AA batteries.
Yep.
This is our USB lithium clamp fan. For me, I call this the Truist Park Special because any Braves game I go to, this is coming with me to survive the heat. But it runs on our USB lithium batteries, which are these small 4-volt batteries. They're meant to replace those items you might buy on the internet that, run on AA's and are constantly running out. So for ours, it recharges via USB-C. This fan on low with the 2 amp hour battery included, you can hear how quiet that is. You are getting over 4 hours of runtime. So that's an entire ball game.
And I feel it from here, just for some context. I mean, that's different than a AA battery. You feel it from over here. And these things are lithium ion. This is not nickel cadmium. These are advanced batteries that are built for these kind of applications. Yeah, I know my battery tech a little bit. Don't you worry about that.
So you have that. You also have our lights that work on the same battery. So great for the camping enthusiast. Moving up in size for our fans, this is our 18 volt 1 Plus clamp fan. So this has been super popular since it came out in 2021. You'll find it in Home Depot stores, usually seasonally.
Okay.
It'll go in and out. But this one is great because it's going to be more powerful than its younger USB lithium sibling, but runs on any 18-volt ONE+ battery. Amazing to clamp on tent poles, on the columns of your car if you're tailgating out the back. So that one's good.
And let me tell you what I love about it. If you are a power user of these things, I'm not going to say I'm a power user, probably much more than most people. You got a battery that is near the end of its life. That is a great place to use it, right? It's not going to pull on the big, on the trimmer. It's not going to do so then all of a sudden now you have a battery that you wouldn't use anyway that now can power a fan for a good couple hours. Yeah. It's amazing. That's what I love about the modular part of all this.
And, what I enjoy is that, we'll see people posting photos to our Facebook page and other places on social media, and they will have, a Ryobi 18-volt ONE+ clamp fan that came out in 2021 on a battery that came out in 2004 that they have. But it's like, hey, it works, and that's our backwards compatibility story.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the beast over here, shall we? So this actually runs on our 40-volt system, which will run on a lot of the lawnmowers, leaf blowers, string trimmers you find at the Home Depot.
Yeah.
So this is brand new as of this year. It is a 20-inch air cannon whisper series.
Of course it is. It has to be a cannon. We're going to blow everything away now. We need it for a dramatic effect. Throw your hair in there. Wiggle your hair back and forth while you do it.
Well, Nick, so we're about to hear 6,300 CFM at under 80 decibels.
Hit it. Yeah. I mean, and in the room, you could, if you had a camera effect of the room, it's a mini tornado. Again, you're seeing the dust, which I wish we didn't have to see, but yeah, that is unbelievable. And that is with you're on electric, that thing lasts. It is circulating. It is so much more efficient than running AC or doing these things. It's amazing. And all you got right now is an air cannon running off a battery.
And the great part is so this one and also most of our fans larger than the clamp size, so any of our tabletop or larger fans, most of them feature a hybrid option. So that means that you can plug a standard extension cord into this one.
Got it.
Our 18-volt and 40-volt air cannons, the smaller versions of this, they come with a barrel plug adapter. So they all have this hybrid efficiency.
Yeah, that's great because, again, there are times where you need it to be plugged in and you can. There's sometimes we got to bring it out with you. Like when I'm doing yard work, I don't have a plug in certain places or I'm using my plug for something else. Like, there's still not a good table saw option on a battery. Not to cut through 4x4s and 6x6s. So I got to be plugged in. So this is a great option. Yeah, I love it. And again, I can't explain how hot it is in Georgia in September that air cannon, which you're looking at, like what kind of ridiculous person would bring that? The answer is a smart person who knows that they're on blacktop when it's 98 degrees still in Georgia in September.
Well, and we had, this was before this one came out, but I remember last year we did a golf outing, the morning show with that.
Yeah.
And they just stopped by to feel our misting, our bucket top misting fans.
I love it.
As they
I love
flew
it.
by, but
I love it.
Yeah,
we can only hold so much out here. So tell us about some other goodies that we could have for tailgates and that kind of event. Because I think tailgates, camping, I think there's similar circumstances where you want to be out there, you want to be roughing it, but not too rough.
Yep. So this is our 18-volt ONE+ Verse clamp speaker.
Okay.
So same as the clamp fan, it has the ability to clamp onto different materials. But what's amazing about this, Nick, you can pair over 100 of these together with no app required.
Wow. So you daisy chain those puppies together and you have real immersive
surround sound. So let's say that you are at a campsite with a whole bunch of friends out at the lake where someone has a nice big property. You can have these all over the place, control the music and the volume from one device.
Wow.
And even better, so there is one kind of mother speaker, for lack of a better term, and that one will identify, the rest will chain to it. But let's say that you disconnect or you shut off that mother speaker, all the others will turn off with it.
Wow. Okay. So you're Bluetooth into one. That is the hub that's going to the rest of them. They're speaking their own language with each other. No latency. And you can actually have 100 speaker surround sound if you wanted it.
Yep. And if you go to our Instagram page, that spring of 2023 at Ryobi Tools USA, you can see that we paired over 100 of them together.
I love that.
Yep.
That is super cool. And I think that there is a way, and we're just brainstorming about tailgates to implement that we would have some fun with.
Well, and the coolest part is, so we actually, we teased it in an announcement a couple weeks ago. We have a full-size stereo featuring that Verse technology coming this summer to the Home Depot. And that one, just like the fan, going to have that hybrid capability.
Wow. Yeah, those are things that, I've seen 2 or 3 speakers together, but 100, it's amazing that a power tool company is the ones that's sitting out there putting out 100 speaker training, because think about practical application. Think about if you're on a work site, right? And it's consistency. You want the same message going to everybody, because otherwise people have headphones in. So now if you have everybody on the same message, think about, people work with a cadence. Like, I'm blasting music. If you ever see me doing anything, they're like, is he dancing or cutting wood? I'm like, both. Same time, man. I got to get everything in at the same time. Yeah, I love it. So what else we got? We have coolers. Talk about some of the other tools we have out there, because there's so much.
So this, I would say, is probably my most used tool.
Okay.
This is our 18-volt 1 Plus power source.
Okay.
So what you'll see here takes an 18-volt 1 Plus battery from your power station or any other products. On the front, you've got one 120-volt outlet, 2 USB A's. You've got this little searchlight just in case, power goes out or you are doing things like that. And on the back, you've got USB-C PD. But what you can see here is there's a 1 Plus charging input
in it.
So if you are ever traveling in a hotel or going somewhere where you can't bring your full scope 18-volt 1 Plus charger, this comes with a USB-C cable and a power brick.
As an input.
Correct. So I could charge this battery through the wall brick and the cable that come with this power inverter.
You could do it in your car if you needed to. If you needed juice, you ran out of it, you plug that into your car. It would take a while to plug, but you could charge that on a 2-hour drive. You get enough juice to now keep going. Let me check that out.
Yeah.
That is, see, and one of the things I will say, again, you need to explore, because this one I've never seen before, and I spent a lot of time at Home Depot. This is real world application, because a lot of people buy those big units that you have to charge separately. This is a battery charger also, so at the very least I just leave it on my counter and now I have an extra battery charger. This is awesome. Yep. This is awesome. What's something like this run?
So the bare tool version of that is $99, so you get the tool, the wall brick, as well as the USB-C cable. But then for $30 more at $129, you get it with a 2-amp-hour battery included.
Nothing. And honestly, I don't think the technology required to convert AC to DC and the sign and all these things, it is way above my pay grade. But these are not easy things. Do you remember how big these units used to be?
Oh, yeah.
To convert these signals and to do this stuff. I mean, this was the unit itself. Now you have just something that does all that in one fell swoop that you can bring with you. And think about it, a baseball game. Well, your phone's going to run out. You're completely charged. You can hot swap. Oh, the phone's running out. Okay, we don't need the fan for 10 minutes. Let's swap to this so we can charge. I mean, it is unbelievable. And then again, you have USB-A, so you just need a wire here. You don't need to have the full brick with you. Yeah. No, this is really cool. And I think, again, like I said, this is problem solving, right? This is a problem that most people probably had, didn't realize they had. Now that you have a solution for, that they go to Home Depot and buy, built in an ecosystem with all these other tools.
Yep. And it's funny that you mentioned DC power, because I also so happen to have our power source that offers DC power, as well as this one does not have the 120 volt because it's not AC, but it still has 4 USB A's and 1 USB-C.
Got it. That's a camping thing, right? You're camping.
100%.
Somehow your car battery dies. Now all of a sudden you have a second input. Yeah, dude. And again, there's an application for everything.
And the one that I really want to make sure I mention, because these are now popping up in Home Depots all over.
Please.
You drive the roads of Atlanta.
I do. It's a war zone.
You hit the potholes all the time. What is the number one thing you should probably have in your car?
Air compressor.
Called AAA. Yep. So this is a upgrade on our very popular P737 air compressor. So this is now our PCL001.
Okay.
So the old one we used to have, which I'm sure you and many others have seen in Home Depot, it had a pistol grip, which was great, but a big user piece of feedback we got, you had to hold down the trigger. This one, we upgraded it to where you can set it and forget it. Set it to 35 PSI you need for your SUV, or maybe 31 for your car. Set it to that. It'll automatically shut off when it's done. Fold it back up. Tuck it in the compartment in your vehicle.
Yeah, it's crazy. And just so I'm pretty sure, right? A car is 12 volt. A car DC is a 12 volt.
Correct. Yep.
So that's an 18 volt if you put the battery in. So you got more juice coming automatically. And that thing will probably go through 3, 4, 5 charges at least, compared to you put a little one out. I mean, my dad was cute one year for Christmas and he bought me one of those ones that was this big. And I go, Dad, are you serious? Do you really think it worked one time and then it never did anything again? It's not going to put the juice out that you need to fill a tire. Not on 19-inch rims, not the way the roads are these days.
Nope.
Yeah. So we have so many toys here. Talk about some of your other favorites.
So some of my other favorites, this one right here is actually our 18-volt 510 CFM blower. So that is our most powerful 18-volt blower we have made to date.
Okay.
So what this does is this outperforms a noisy gas blower that you might have, but it provides just picture quiet. So Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's on the right setting, and then I want you to go ahead and pull that trigger for me.
Hold it up in the air like
there we go.
Yeah, it's honestly, I have a older Ryobi blower, and it's quieter than that one, and it's twice the size, at least.
Yep. And
it's twice the size.
So this is part of our Whisper series. So our Whisper series products, this air cannon is part of it. That blower, a few other blowers and outdoor products we have, those were all engineered to be quieter by design.
Yeah.
So not only are we getting consumers away from that noisy gas blower, we're all used to hearing that sound at our homes. Instead, you just plug a battery in, no maintenance, it's quiet, you can use it whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's lightweight, it's easy to operate, and this is our first 18-volt blower where we, instead of having a variable speed trigger as we have in the past, we actually have a two-mode functionality where you can have more power or more runtime. You just press the button and you can choose which one.
Love it, because you're not really adjusting on the fly. You're just blowing. And I think, for me, I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So if I want to go do my yard at 8 a.m., like, I don't have to worry about neighbors. And if you're sitting there with a huge gas-powered one, just the smell alone, it's just such a different world with the same kind of function and application. So, these are all amazing tools. So let's talk a little bit about marketing. So as you guys go, again, this is now about sharing this with people. And it's not as easy as being in Home Depot, because if you're in Home Depot, one, you're most likely already the kind of person that's seen these kind of things or has another tool ecosystem. How do you get this to the masses? How are we doing home shows, our tailgates, campsites? How are you getting these from these people? Because the application has changed so much.
So I think the biggest thing for us, and the biggest thing for power tools especially, is, we saw through the last 4 years that online shopping is becoming a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people who are buying tools or appliances, they need to be able to go in a store, put their hands on it, feel it, see if it's, going to meet what they need.
Yes.
So for us, getting to go to the home show, doing tailgates with 680 The Fan, it's amazing because people don't expect to see a power tool brand there.
Yeah.
But then we get people coming up who are like, oh my goodness, I have like all these tools at home, but what's that one? I've never seen it before. It's brand new. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you recall when we met at the Georgia Tech tailgate last year, we had a family who they had, like a deluxe stroller that had rubber tires. They're like, do you have something to inflate? We're like, yes. We do.
Yes. I love it. And I think it's probably one thing that advantages, because a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I'm going to check it out, but I'm going to go buy it online. They can't. Yeah. They buy it at Home Depot. So if they do, they're still buying at Home Depot. But I'm saying, like, oh, no, this is available here. Like that. And I think that tangibility, the tactile nature of this is making a comeback. Like, how much stuff have you bought online that is just not what the pictures were, right? Just the worst crap. And it look like, think about how much thought, and that's the first thing that came to my mind, how much thought goes into this stuff. Like you drove us around, and I would see guys out just chopping wood with the tools to make sure it worked. And it didn't look like it was a factory with eyes. It looked like, all right, let's think of the craziest situation and see if we could cut that. Let's go. And like the thought that goes into it, no one's sitting here making tools for, the same construction guy that goes, it's making tools for everybody. And it's making it so everyone can be a tool person. And I have to imagine there's probably way more females out there using these things than anyone could have ever thought that are using them, not for crafts, for cutting crap, for cutting things and using it for camping. And I think it almost is bringing it to the masses in a way that once you get in, you want more. And that's the job of any business, right?
It is. And I think, what's interesting is one of our slogans that we're going with for this year for one of our marketing campaigns is for our outdoor equipment. It's called a tool for every yard.
Yeah.
So what we want people to understand is even if you have a 25 by 30 parcel out behind your tiny home, that's still your yard. You want to make it look great. So we want to make sure you have that smaller size string trimmer, the compact blower, all the items you need to make that space yours and take ownership of it. Whereas we also know there are people who have multiple acres. They need our riding tractor or our riding or zero-turn riding mower.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is offer that same level of innovation, cordless technology, cleaner, quieter. We want to provide that to every customer, from one who only has USB lithium products in the drawer in their apartment over in the battery, all the way to someone who lives out in Decatur, has multiple acres, and needs to tend to all of that on the weekend.
Yeah, and again, they're stepping it up, right? There's a blower that's a smaller one. I have one of the smaller blowers, and that's great for cleaning out the car and the garage. But when there's leaves out in winter, this isn't, the little one's not helping. But one of the things I find probably hard for you guys, your tools are so well built that they last for so long that sometimes you buy them like, I don't need a new one. I've had my string trimmer for oh my God, 6 years now, and it has not lost a bit. And it is not the fancy one. It is, but I've read everywhere that's the one. That thing goes fast. It cuts. It does what you need it to. So how do you? Again, what about those people? I know you have to offer new things for them, but there's also got to be some pride that, hey, I still have the one I had from 20 years ago. That's got to be a nice feeling.
Yeah, it definitely is. I love seeing when people will be, posting on Facebook or other social media their old blue tools that they're still using on the daily, because it's like, wow,
So I had a saw. I came up when I was with you, and the saw, and I remember my father-in-law was 86, and he was cutting, and he had to pull the plastic up to make the cut, and I go, yeah, we're gonna get rid of that one.
Oh, my
loved
safety guy can feel him cringing.
I loved it, but I was like, Emilio, your finger is 2 inches away, and you're 86 years old. Can we get a new saw? So I came up, and that's why I bought the new saw. Even if I never use it, I just bought it because I wanted to make sure he knew that my kids are not gonna watch their grandfather try to put his finger up with a saw. So this is great, man. There's so much stuff out there. First of all, tell them where to find you. Talk about some videos and content. Just tell everybody where to find more of this, because I got to imagine this is part of the strategy is to get this as much content out as possible.
Yeah, so our social media is super active. So that's at Ryobi Tools USA. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, Threads. We're all over the place there. Also visit our website, ryobitools.com. We have a lot of great enter to win opportunities where sign up for our text messages, sign up for our e-blasts, even just taking a survey on the website. You can be entered to win one of these Whisper Series fans right now.
Wow.
So lots of great opportunities. And, of course, visit your local Home Depot.
Yeah.
Even if you don't find the rep there, you will always find Ryobi Tools in store, both in the hardware section as well as in the outdoor section.
Yep.
And, don't be afraid that if you do see someone in a Ryobi polo shirt, ask them about what's new, ask them what's going on. But best way to keep track of us, definitely via our social media.
Yeah, and just because you see an end cap doesn't mean that it stops there. It's one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they see the end cap, and that's the most used probably tools. But again, go down the rabbit hole, go see, because once I learned some of these tools, it changed the way I was building things, right? Once I learned to use routers and to do these things, like you act like it's so hard, but once you start figuring out, like making a piece of furniture is not super hard if you have the right tools, right? You want to make sure everything's level. You want to make sure you have right angles, but those are easy tools. It's really, do you have the right routers for the edges? Do you have the right saws? Are you making level cuts? Like there are tools for that stuff, which I find to be the best part of this all. So we're going to finish up. We're going to talk a little bit about the future. But you've been watching Ryobi demo. You've been listening to the Marketing Madman. We got a lot going on here. We'll be right back.
Now back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3 FM.
Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen. Nick Constantino here with Jay Sarkar, and we're finishing our conversation about the world of Ryobi and what a diverse, crazy world it is. Talk about what you got going on personally, what the brand has over the next couple of months, and then we can have a nice conversation of what you think the future holds.
So yeah, looking at the next couple months, one of the things I'm most excited for is we've gotten really involved locally with Greenville County Schools. So we're just south of Greenville, South Carolina. And we are now involved in the annual Upstate STEAM Festival.
Cool.
So that invites students from kindergarten through 12th grade and their parents. They come out. So a lot of local manufacturers there, us as well as some of our peers in the Upstate. But we did our first run of it last year. And I got told by so many attendees that, like, you guys have the most interactive booth. Like, my kids just kept wanting to come back. So, for me, like,
it's an affinity to power tools. All kids have it. They want to touch things. When mommy and daddy say don't touch it, all they want to do is touch it. So
I think it's that, and I think it's also just that, the excitement that I can help them build and, building that next generation person who wants to work in our office.
And let's talk about STEAM real fast. Science, technology, engineering, remind me the A, because that's what it used to be STEM. So they both arts into it. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics and it is a huge talking point and everyone's talking about it, but when you can have the practical application of it, because again, these things, there's one thing we do not teach in schools of, and it is problem solving. One of the things I love, people are like, why are you trying to rebuild a deck? Why are you building a deck? I go, 1, I have time on the weekend. 2, it's a workout. And 3, the problem solving nature. My is on a 30-degree angle. So I got to figure out how to dig that whole thing out, pivot, go up and down, stare at, put your storage, the problem solving. It's fun. And I'm not a draw the plans and build the plans guy. I'm a improv as I go guy. And that art of problem solving, I have to imagine if kids can bring that kind of excitement to their futures, they're going to be successful no matter what they do. So I think it's I just wanted to clarify what steam is, but these are the kind of products that make the imagination go, oh my God, I can do anything I want to with these kind of things.
And, what's really neat about it is we take, it's called a power tool relay race with us. So,
Love it.
Kids are able to basically go down the line and do a different tool for
Love
each
it.
station. And, for them, it's like, oh, it's a race. It's fun. And, we'll give them a little prize at the end of it. So
Love it.
That, and, I think we did another event at Roper Mountain Science Center, which is the county subsidized science center. And we were having kids play mini golf using one of our mini blowers.
Love it.
And they kept coming back to it. And I was looking at the parents. I'm like, isn't it fun teaching them about wind propulsion? They don't even realize it.
Friction and love it.
I was going to say, going up against an angle and
Love it. That's the way kids learn, right? If they don't feel like, shoot, that's a lie. That's the way everybody learns. When you feel like you're not being taught something, you learn a lot better, no matter what it is. That's awesome, dude. What about talk about the future? I know we are green for a reason, and I know that when you think about the benefit for the environment, and I think electric cars have done to an extent, but they got their own political BS around it. But talk about just that commitment to the environment and Earth Day, because they're green for a reason, and I think it really is an important point to bring up.
Well, I think what's important for us is we have that exclusive partnership with Home Depot, and their goal is that by 2028, they will be 85% and above in terms of cordless outdoor power equipment. So for us, we've been trying to stay ahead of the curve on that for a while now. Because when we initially launched our 40-volt line in 2014, we had maybe 6 to 8, 10 products. We're now at over 85 that provide gas replacement. And it's tools you wouldn't necessarily think of. It's snow blowers, it's tillers, those items that, ones that have small engines, not only do they create a lot of pollution, but it also creates a lot of hassle. Because if you have a tiller, you're going to have to load that in your pickup, take it to a small engine repair shop, get it taken care of.
And those are disappearing also. There's not a lot of small engine repair shops to begin with, so that means they're charging more money, or you have to wait on it. And what's the point of having the tool if you can't use it in the season, right? You bring up a tiller, like if you can't dethatch your lawn in the right time, the lawn's not going to be right. So that's not a great ecosystem to be in.
No, and we talk about regulation that's coming. Both California and Colorado are starting to outlaw sales of new 2-cycle gas engines, because what's interesting is the gas blower that this unit is meant to replace. If you operate a gas blower with a 2-cycle engine for an hour, it creates more emissions than driving a mid-sized car from Denver to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it's because there's so much more margins, and the car industry is such a bigger engine that they've done more technology to those things, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of these 2-stroke engines haven't changed in 30 years.
No,
you're operating the same engine with the same oil, with the same gasoline. You're not putting 93 octane into it. You're not putting clean gasoline into it. Mm-hmm. You are running an inefficient tool. Now, will it have more torque and power when you need to? Probably. Until we get to the point where the batteries are replacing. And from your application, most people's application, you would never know the difference, right? But when you're dealing with 3 acres and you got to blow out 3 acres, there are certain things for that. Now, talk a little bit about, while we're on it, talk about the mowers and talk about the tractors, because when I saw that mod tractor, you could pop how many of these batteries into and run a tractor on these things. That was the point where I was like, okay, the future's here.
Yep. So that's our 80-volt suitcase style battery. We introduced those in 2022, and we're really excited about the future that brings, because our 80-volt 54-inch zero-turn mower, that can do almost 4 acres on a single charge with the 3 batteries that are included. So think about, for someone who needs a ride-on mower, not only that, but it has the ability where it uses our iDrive control. So rather than having to do the lap bars, you can drive that mower one-handed, because it's like using a joystick in a video game.
Super cool.
Yep. And then our tractors as well, we're excited about what those bring, especially the fact that they're built in South Carolina. There's a lot of great opportunity there. So really, it's 80 volt is just kind of our next great iteration.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see where the future can take us on that. But I would say, though, that, for the folks who are walking into a Home Depot every day, 18 volt 1 Plus has been around the longest. It has the largest amount of products. And I would say for someone who is new to Ryobi, it's a great entry point.
Yeah. And again, the future, right? The future requires more power, replacing bigger and bigger units. So you're going to go to those bigger batteries. But, right, you don't need to operate a leaf blower with an 80-volt battery. Like, we're just not there yet. Like, there are certain things, like, unless you want a rocket ship. Have we tried that?
Well,
have we set up a rocket ship? Have we done a propelled where you put 2 80-volt blowers on your back and tried to do Rocket Man?
So what's funny is, in 2022, we did come up with our backpack battery power source for 40 volt.
Yeah.
So it is a 3-port battery backpack. So you could put up to 3 12 amp hour 40 volt batteries, hook that up to a 40 volt leaf blower. You're going for acres.
So smart. Again, niche application. There's not a lot of people that are doing it, but I bet you in the long run, because you save money on gas, you save money on oil, you save money on maintenance, you save money on repairs. I bet you in the long run, those barriers, the barrier to entry and the cost will diminish, and that will be what everyone, you see the future. The writing's on the wall. So, and I think it's amazing. And I think that ultimately you guys are providing a solution for people that didn't know they need problems. And as long as you can be out ahead of the curve on that, there will always be a future there. And if my words aren't enough, what do you guys have? Another 60,000 square feet that you haven't even touched yet? You're waiting to move into up in Anderson?
Yeah, we're working on expanding as much as we can, but really at the end of the day, it's about what can we do to develop products in a quick, efficient manner that values our user feedback. It's going to make our retailer at the Home Depot, they're going to be excited about carrying those products, whether it's in-store, online, or both. And that's going to be something where we can make something we are proud of, we stand behind, and we make sure that every user has something that, like you said, can solve a problem they may not even know they had, or make life easier for them by virtue of using cordless, whether it's instead of something with an extension cord or something that runs on gas.
And again, they're doing it right down the road in Anderson, South Carolina. And that is what brings it all home for me, is they're doing it down the road. And you know what? I'm not going to say Greenville's a suburb of Atlanta, but I've spent more time driving from Woodstock to Grayson. I spent 2 hours doing that. So you are part of Braves country, as we are in the Braves stadium in the Battery recording this. It is part of Braves country, and Greenville is a hop, skip, and a jump away. And the fact that you're bringing so much to the economy there just adds to it. So Jay, brother, this has been great. Thank you for bringing the toys and giving the graphic demonstration, the visual demonstration. You have been listening to the Marketing Madman on Extra 106.3. Thank you for joining us for our first ever video tool exhibit, and we'll catch you next week.
Associated Credit Union puts more in our 1515 adjustable rate mortgage over the standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Here's the more. A full 1% lower rate than the standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Estimated interest savings average $40,000 in the first 15 years. A lower initial monthly payment, and you pay no intangible tax. What more could you ask for? Go to acuonline.org/more, well, to find out more. Associated Credit Union. We're here to help you live more, bank more, and grow more. NMLS number 401922, Equal Housing Opportunity.
The warm air, the sounds of baseball, it's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, sporting standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 32 miles per gallon. Or the 2024 Subaru Forester, the SUV with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com, then come see us for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth.
Support for Extra 106.3 comes from Natural Body Spa and Skin Remedy, celebrating their 35th anniversary and offering gift cards in-store and online. You can discover Mother's Day and anniversary presents online at Natural Body Spa and Skin Remedy at naturalbody.com.